Hey, so I've received multiple messages at this point inquiring about my whereabouts because I've been missing in action for like a week. It's been crazy this last few weeks since I had the mental shift that I posted about in the video, where I said that I was having like rapid movement on all of my intentions. It's just been crazy. It's just been like one thing after another, after another, after another. I said in that video that I had this sort of shift and since then I've been thinking, what was this shift? And what I think it was an increase in belief, or like a removal of a block that was, this block was causing me to have all kinds of like automatic knee-jerk doubt about things. It was like a voice that would pop in whenever I would have an intention about something and tell me why it wasn't likely that that was going to happen. Or it would present me with all of the evidence from my 3D past that would point to it not being likely in the traditional mundane sense that this thing would happen. It was just like doubt. It was that voice. And something about this mental shift I had shut that voice off, or it brought in a louder voice. I'm struggling to articulate this. I'm realizing lately how difficult it is for me to take a concept and put it into words. Sucks. I wish I had that skill. But basically what happened was my intentions started having a much clearer, it's like the phone line had static and the static is gone. And so right away, like I had this shift. I suddenly realized that the past is irrelevant. The 3D right now is irrelevant. Basically, all that matters is whatever you decide. Like, that will happen if you can free your mind of these thoughts about how they're not like, these doubts, basically. I immediately thought, I don't want to be out of contact with Steve anymore. I hate this. What I really want is for Steve to just be sitting around missing me right now. 30 minutes later, he texted me after we hadn't talked in like 6 or 7 weeks. Yesterday, I talked to Steve, and he told me that he had been sitting around missing me for days when he sent that text. Because I told him yesterday what I did and like how I was thinking about that. And then he texted me immediately, and he was like, yeah, that had been coming for a few days. So I don't know. The timing's pretty crazy. And then other things that happened were I did the same thing about my specific person, which I have an update about coming later after I get done blabbing about the interim. I had the same sort of intention about him, like it's done. And he texted me the next day with some sort of personal stuff. And then I had said my YouTube channel is going to get to 100,000 subscribers and I'm not going to have to do anything. I'm not going to have to promote it. I'm not going to have to do anything. I'm just going to have to show up and talk about this. And I'll just get mentioned on other people's channels. Right away, Veronica Isles mentioned me on her channel, which she's already done once. So it's kind of like manifestation light. But it did happen. So anyway, also, I had made a video right before that about what it feels like for me when it's done and how it's done. Just knowing that something is done, just having an intention and saying it's done has been really how stuff has worked for me a lot. I had just made a video about that. And I think even in the video I said, the romantic part of my life is just done. I don't worry about it. I don't think about it. It's weird to me that I'm not like on a dating site when I'm single. Even though I know it's done, it seems logically like I should go put myself on a dating site or something, right? But I haven't wanted to. I've had no urge to do that. I have a one set up somewhere and I've activated it a couple times and literally taken it down 30 seconds later because I was just like, I don't want to, this isn't right. Anyway, I met somebody new also, sorta. I mean, somebody who I'd been talking to for a while volunteered the information that the first time he saw me, he thought that we were going to nut together. So that was new. Didn't know that. Hi, Matt, if you watch this. And also, after no sign whatsoever since October, that my specific person didn't completely drop me instantly. I ended that relationship, but I ended it because I didn't feel like I was important to him. And honestly, I've been pretty convinced since then that he just didn't care at all. Like I've had so many conversations with Robbie Bobby about how much I didn't think this person cared about me. You know, as Robbie Bobby and I would be talking about the specific person thing, I was just like, man, I just don't think he cares. I've had interactions with him here and there over the last like 6 months. All the times I was just like, well, this is more of the same. He doesn't give a shit. Last weekend, I'm not going to get into the details of it. Suffice it to say, that was not the case. And specific person is, I've taken that as far as I want to take it, because I don't feel any kind of urge to be in a relationship with him, and it's pretty clear that that's an option if I wanted it to be, based on a conversation we had this weekend where he told me he was in his mind setting himself up for a Sleepless in Seattle type of scenario with me. That's all I want to say about that. Needless to say, it was validation to the extreme for everything. For the manifesting a specific person thing, for my own sense of self that was still a little wounded from that. I got everything I want. I'm sorry I keep clearing my throat. I got to stop drinking a Red Bull right before I make a video. Anyway, that's all been a little overwhelming, and I don't know. I think I need to talk at some point, if not right now, about how belief plays into this, because it's obviously it's everything. But you can think that you believe and you really don't, or you can believe but not enough to make things happen quickly. I'm beginning to see, I read somewhere once back in the day that the universe likes speed, and I'm starting to see now how your level of belief my level of belief appears to be directly proportional to the speed that things come to fruition. Obviously, chicken or egg, I think they kind of build on each other, but at the end of the day, it's how much you believe is how much faster you're going to get the things that you're trying to get. Whether you actually want those things or you are manifesting them to compensate for some part of yourself that is broken or unexamined or wounded, whatever. That's another story, and one that I think is very pertinent, because until you have your self-concept intact, you're not going to know why you want things fully. Especially if you don't have a direct connection to your higher self or your own motives, you will wander in the dark trying to get things that, once you get them, won't do for you the thing you think they're going to do. It's very disappointing. You can waste a lot of years this way. And honestly, I spent a good chunk of yesterday kind of pissed off at myself for the amount of mental energy I've expended on the specific person thing about somebody that I ended the relationship with to begin with, and then, manifested back in order to validate myself that I wasn't easily forgotten, or that I meant something, or that I was as good as I think this ego shit. And the joke's on me, because I'm the one who wasted all of my time on that, when I could have been expending it on manifesting the just right person for me that I could actually then be in a relationship with and be happy with. So that's where I am right now. It's kind of, I think this manifestation of the specific person was maybe something that I needed to finally convince me of the all-encompassing nature of conscious creation. I don't believe there are nearly any limits. Maybe death. Don't think you can rise people from the dead. And even if you can, I'd prefer to continue to believe you can't. But pretty much this is the ultimate tool for creating exactly what you want. And I know you can get it with super specificity. You can obviously influence people heavily on purpose. You're already influencing people all the time without meaning to. People influence people. You know, that's just what we do. There are a million books written about this in business that people don't seem to think are creepy or weird. It's basically the same thing. You know, you can influence people to get what you want. And you're already influencing people to get things, if what you want is things. You know, this is operating on the minds of man, as well as Waddle says, to bring you the things you want. This is a full-on, all-encompassing way to create exactly what you want. And I feel that I have graduated. That's where I'm at. I had this one thing left that I wanted to not experiment with exactly, but this was the last thing I needed to do to prove to myself that, one, I can do it, and two, it's real. Anyway, that's my brief update. I'm sorry, this is not a very exciting conclusion, I don't think. Maybe a little bit. But now I can actually start to do the really cool stuff, so stay tuned to my manifestation TED Talk for more in the coming months.